So I'm asking you though, can actually Brighton? Do you think they would look at this and say, um, maybe we can go for somebody that's maybe? I mean, we're not gonna get a big name, but certainly you have to put the
They
money
they they ha-
money in
they
play.
they have been signing guys, so they've made a couple of moves. They were in on Kundas from Ajax, but they already have their guys, right? They've already made their moves.
Yeah.
With Brighton, you're not going to know who the guy is. They're simply going to come in and be really good, and you're going to go,
So
holy shit, where the fuck did they find that guy?
this is a good
Like
interesting.
this kid Indigra, Simon Indingra, incredible already. They basically already have Matoma's replacement, and they haven't had to sell Matoma yet. You know what I mean? Like,
So
he's fantastic.
now, are you able to watch the highlights now or no?
I'm not seeing anything. All I'm
Okay.
seeing is
Okay.
Arsenal nil, Nottingham Forest nil, halftime score at 0.
How are you seeing that? That's incredible. But anyways, but my thing is, like, before we get into the Caicedo thing, which is going to be really really interesting, what does Brighton sales, and that's perfect. They have a lot. They get a lot of money back. But would they ever put this in play into actually getting somebody that's again not a big name, but somebody that you know, not just go for youth players or really players that most people don't know about. You know what I mean? You get my point though.
Yeah,
Like,
sure.
could they
Yeah.
do that? Do you think they can attract somebody? Because I mean, you're talking about 200 million.
Oh,
They can definitely buy somebody.
I don't think they need to. I think the way that they grow is by retaining the players that they find. So the way that Brighton will win and be a better team is when Enciso hits, because he won goal of the year last year. Do they get to a point where they don't have to sell him, where he's on £50,000 a week? He can go, you know what? We really want you. Stay one more season. We'll put you on 150 million, 150,000 a week.
So,
Right? That's what will make them win. They don't need to buy players right now. They're in
well,
the let's build up as many guys as we can, find our core, pay them, and grow with them.
okay, but look. So let me go to last year, and this is a good. It's going to prove your point. I was hoping not, but it's proving your point. Because Brighton last year finished sixth, so I'll give them that. But are we in a situation where even though smaller clubs sell and in this particular case sold a lot of money, sold for a lot of money, a lot of profit,
A lot.
are we
A
in a
lot.
position to say that big clubs are always going to have the advantage, even though if they don't sell enough or that because a
Yeah.
name
Yeah.
they're always going to prefer to go to a big club. Is that? I mean, I know
Yeah.
there's a question
Yeah,
that's kind of
I understand. I understand where you're going. Is how sustainable are I think
big.
the two clubs that I talk about the most that I'm most interested in what they do are Brentford and Brighton. Right?
Yeah.
They are the two most progressive clubs. I think, and maybe the audience doesn't know, but I've talked about this on the Squeaky Bum Time podcast a lot. They are both owned by guys who ran gambling companies. They sell gambling data. Tony Benheim owns Brentford, and Tony Bloom owns Brighton. Both those guys used to work together, and they split apart. They made so much money in gambling and gambling data that they were able to parlay those teams into buying the teams.
Yeah.
Tony Bloom, a longtime fan of Brighton. Anyway, but the reason why I bring that up is they're very, very, very analytical teams. They are run perfectly from top to bottom. Otherwise, none of it would work, right?
Yeah.
So I think that what they can do is on lower budgets is they can compete with the rich teams that are run poorly. They can't compete with a rich team that's run well. So they're never going to get to where Arsenal are, who turn themselves around. They're never going to get to where City are. They're never going to get to where Liverpool are, although we might have to question Liverpool in terms of how they're run. But the way Spurs are, they can catch Spurs. They can catch Aston Villa. They can catch United. They're going to take points off United because
No, but
United to
so is Brighton? Well, they're going to compete for the Europa League, correct? They're independent.
they are
So
correct.
don't you think that? Because I feel like what I think is
They'll
that they
get
have a,
rated. I mean,
they
eventually
have a
they'll
rating.
lose their players. Eventually, it's too
But
much. You can't hit every time.
yeah, I just feel like
Eventually, it collapses. Yeah.
just to finish up the point, I just feel like I haven't seen an attempt really. You don't hear much of Brighton trying to maybe stay competitive for the Europa League. Who knows? I mean, yeah. Listen,
I think they will
would
go
like to
for
see
it.
that.
I think they will.
would
I
like
think
to see it.
De Zerbi's there. Yeah, they're going to go for it. Sure.
Yeah.
I think that the question will be health, and if someone comes in for De Zerbi, does he go? I think that's where they could get hurt. There's only so many great coaches who are willing to work in these types of clubs. They elevated. I think they elevated Potter. They identified him. He did really well. He went a bridge too far. He just probably joined Chelsea at the exact wrong time, but he couldn't pass it up. De Zerbi inherits a team that is already well coached, is well stocked with players, and he's able to convey his messages.
For top football news, debate, analysis, and opinion, join Top Football Club. Watch live on YouTube or on the Top FC News website, or listen live on the AMP app and on your smart speaker. Top Football Club.